you doing? Welcome back to Leather Helmet Fandom Podcast. Today you'll be joined by myself, Caleb Consman, and as always,
Josh Consman.
Today, it's week 4. Obviously, we're going into Saturday now. All the bets we are going to be telling you about, at least on my end, you can hit now. As far as Saturdays, Josh's might be a little bit different because he took his earlier in the week, but let's just go over how week 3 went before we go into week 4 bets. You want to take over, Josh?
Yep. So week 3 was probably a down week for both of us. I ended at plus 1.08 units. Caleb ended at a negative 6, so he's still on that losing streak. But we'll see how we bounce back. So far on the NFL season, I'm at plus 25 units, and Caleb's sitting at a nice, settling, calming negative 10.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he bounces back, but we're still a combined plus 15. Having a good season so far. It has been a lot of close calls. Some of my pretty much people that just will let me down, and I thought they could have done much better. The Bears let me down a lot. I thought Justin Fields would do a little bit more, but he did absolutely nothing. And for both of us, Tyson let us down big. I mean, that was Caleb's lock.
Yeah, let's also put this in the books. My bets have not been bad. The only thing that's been bad is my locks, which is obviously not a good thing. But if you just don't follow my blocks and you follow all my other bets, you're probably going to be positive because I would be positive. So just take that with a little grain of salt, because that's the only thing that makes me negative is the stupid things. Tyson Williams touched the ball like twice, 3 times. I forget what it was.
He had 1 rushing attempt until the fourth quarter,
Jackson's
and then they gave
him
3 more. So it was definitely weird, especially the fact that they were down. I'm like, so you're not going to use your most explosive player when you're down and losing? I'm like, okay, whatever you want to do, Ravens.
Not Ravens, Jackson.
What, John Harbaugh?
Or
like, Jackson,
I'll take the ball. I'll do it. And then Coach like, yeah, sure, dude. You got me as far as I've ever gotten, so I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, Harbaugh's a pretty good coach, so I think he'll switch that around. I can still see Tyson having value going forward, but we'll see. I mean, they just activated Le'Veon Bell and somebody else. I'm like, only 5 running backs now active. So one good thing is my lock hit, but I had some awful luck. If you were watching, or my lock was Travis Kelce under 7.5 receptions. And honestly, I had a couple unders for Travis going into the week, and it was looking really good because Derwin James was locking him down. If you were watching the game or watching fantasy, you probably were like, why does Kelce have no points? And it's the middle of the second quarter. And I'll tell you what, it was Derwin James, because as soon as he came out, Derwin James got hurt. You see one drive, 4 receptions for like 70-some yards for Kelce in one drive. I'm like, all right, this is my luck.
And this is why I never trail you, because legitimately you always said to me like, oh yeah, look at me going positive. And then the second I trail you, something like this happens. It happens every time. It's either bad luck and it like just misses, or like something like this, like Derwin James goes out for the game and then Kelce does it. I'm like, great, dude. Like if Kelce didn't do that, Jackson didn't run the ball as much.
Yeah, but that's just bad luck.
I would correlate. Exactly. It's annoying.
Yeah, but
when I trail you, it's bad luck. But when I don't, then I'm like,
yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. That's why I usually always try to go off my own bets. But I'm always going to put the facts out there. And the fact was Derwin James was a lockdown safety for that matchup. And it worked out. I mean, the dude locked him down until he got hurt. A couple other close misses I got on. Mike Davis had 1 more yard than his under. So he had 50 yards. His under is 49.5. Clyde, the one I'm still going to bet on all season, he went for a 14-yard rush. His over-under for longest rush was 13.5. What's his name torched me, which I probably should have saw coming. Cooper Kupp had 2 touchdowns. But, I mean, overall, it wasn't an awful week. I just pretty much broke even. Fortunately, my lock hit, and Derwin James did enough. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here with Caleb about to spin this wheel of misfortune. So every week going in now, from now on, the loser is going to spin our wheel of misfortune, and we'll go over what each one means as we spin and land on it. Some of them will be giveaways. Some of them will be based on his profits giveaways. Some will be just some good entertainment to enjoy. I promise you it'll be some good stuff. So let's get right into that. Let's spin our wheel.
Can I press the button since it's my spin?
Yeah, you can press all you want.
All right, here we go. Here
full
we
screen it. We go. Doop doop doop. What we got rolling here?
Surprise shot.
All right, so we got it looks like surprise shot. Yeah, it's a surprise shot right on the corner. So
what is that? Because that's not like.
So surprise shot is going to be the I have the description written down. A dirty birdie shot.
Why is that a dirty birdie shot?
I must have forgot to change one of them to dirty birdie shot, but same thing. So dirty birdie shot is the winner. So myself, as amazing plus you one units, gets to choose 3 random foods or drinks to blend into a shot. So we're about to blend this shiz up for you live.
Can we do this?
No, we're doing this right now.
But I don't want to feel like dog shit throughout the whole podcast.
You can spit it out. All right, so we got
only because it's the beginning of the video and people have
we got some Corona.
Hey, you're gonna mix beer too. You're gonna make me throw up, dude.
We got some stone mustard, and we got a little bit of Ortega taco seasoning or sauce.
At least that's like all Mexican.
Yeah,
shit,
just a little spicy. This might even be good.
Yeah, okay.
A little fireball.
This one and slap. I did not want. I didn't want slap, and I didn't want this one.
Slap's not bad. Because I was just gonna slap you with Play-Doh or whatever.
Yeah, the last time we had a slap battle with someone, I was legitimately at a New Year's party, and we are like, all right, if I slap you, I get to slap you, or you get to slap me, and then I slap my friend, and then he makes my ear go like numb and ringing.
I mean, I don't think. At least I hope when I lose, I'm not getting slapped that hard because I'm not coming out with anything deadly.
Oh, dude, that's disgusting. You heard that drop? I don't gotta chug this whole thing, right?
No, you're doing a shot. You're doing one shot. We got a shot glass and everything.
That's a shot. Oh
no, this is just pouring in.
It smells like booty cheeks.
I mean, I was about to pull out some milk and some ketchup.
Nah, so you can't do that. That's when it really makes me throw up. I'm not trying to throw up in my living room.
All right, so let's get this little mix. You can't even see me.
Mixer's gonna smell like duty cheeks.
That's all right. I'll clean it up. Nothing.
Yeah, until it gets warm and you're like, I forgot to clean that. Ugh. Oh, and you shook up beer, dude? That's gonna be disgusting.
Probably. How else am I gonna mix it?
I don't know, I just thought about that. That's just, it's gonna be all suds.
Air.
Drain that or something.
All right, here we go.
Don't spill my couch, bro.
Oh, it smells like balls. Oh, it smells.
Bro, I'm not taking that entire shot. That is disgusting.
just something to chase it with. You gotta do it on camera. You gotta get a trash can. Oh man, I think I might have to take a pause on this and rinse this out so it doesn't. It'll be fine. I'll just super sanitize it.
This is dead ass like some like
open your Seagrams
X Factor thing.
You almost did it. Oh,
Okay,
maybe we'll come up with a new punishment because the dirty birdie is looking pretty gross.
All right, here we go. You guys ready?
I'm not ready because I smelled that. I was about to.
It's all fuzz too.
I just take it before I cry. Oh my god! It's not that bad. Oh, he's liking it.
Oh, I like it.
How bad was it?
I didn't taste it.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, I taste it now. Oh. Oh, now I smell it. Oh.
All right, we gotta get back into football. I'm gonna cry.
Oh my gosh, that is disgusting.
Is it really that bad?
It tastes like.
I feel like I've had something like that.
It kind of tastes like throw up with like.
Yeah, that's what it smelled like.
It kind of tastes like you threw up in your mouth, but like with sweet and sour, tangy like wings or something.
Oh, that's not that bad. Like you just
that wasn't as bad as I thought it was
ate a
going to be.
lot
But
of like gross wings and threw it back up.
Nasty. All right, let's get right into week 4.
All right, so we're gonna have a good week this week.
We're gonna have a good week, but I'm still gonna lose because I'm already -10, -11. I bet on Jaguars going -9.5 at the first.
Under 9.5.
Yeah, did I say it? I think
you said minus like a spread.
Oh yeah, I did it under 9.5 at the first half for Jaguars.
So hopefully
they're playing Bengals. Hopefully you didn't follow me, but I mean, it happened twice this season, and the one time, it happened twice. It went under twice, and the only other time it hit was off of like a field goal attempt that was like would have been record breaking. I think it was like 68 yards, and they returned it back for a touchdown that was actually 3 points. That was really weird. I never even see that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I actually don't even think that was a rule until recently, but who knows? Either way, so that put me -11 because I also bet on the Bengals -4.5 at the halftime. So I'm at -11, but I got 17 units today. If anything goes bad, you bet your sweet ass I'm probably gonna bet like live bets. So just pay attention to all social medias. Just try to get back. Maybe I'll make it even worse. But I won some money gambling, or at the casino, so it won't be bad for me. But just stay weary of my bets. Like I said, my prop bets are good. It's my stupid locks of the week, but I think I got a good one this week. What do you want to hit first? Prop bets, spreads, over-unders?
We can start with spreads if you want, just because I actually bet on the Bengals too. So
you want me to say my lock because my lock's a spread?
No, you can save it for the end, unless you don't have any other spreads.
Nah, I got plenty of other spreads.
Okay. I'll just start off. So I did have the Bengals -6.5, 2 units. So I got a -2 unit there. But I did have just getting over the Thursday night game out of the way. I had Burrow, like I think everybody did that follows any sportsbook or social media capper. I had Burrow over 248 passing yards. I think it jumped up to like 256 before the game started. I had that only at 1.5 units, so I'm still like at a -6, -7, or -0.7 units so far in the week. So at least it gives Caleb a little bit of advantage. But yeah, we can move forward in the other spreads.
-1 then?
No. It was only I won like 1.3, 1.3.5 units. Off that bet, so I lost -2, so I'm like -6, -7.
Right now?
-0.6, -0.7. Yeah, right now.
Oh, so you're not even a full unit.
No. No.
That does nothing.
1 for 1.
What the hell?
Yeah.
This dude over here betting half units. Anyway.
1.5.
Well, you want to go in your other spread then?
Yeah. So I only got one other spread this week.
Wow.
I got I try to like ring it in a little bit. I think the last couple weeks I've been getting a little too cute.
Because you did the spreads last week, and
how many selections I wanted. So really just targeting games that I like this week. One sec. Can you pull up this week's games?
Yeah.
I know I had them up.
All right.
Yeah, so I have this week, it's probably no surprise, honestly. So a safe bet, Titans -7.5 as a spread. I just got 1 unit on that. They're playing the Jets this week. I just really don't have any faith in the Jets. Even though their win is going to come at some point this season, I don't think they're going to go without a win. Not undefeated. What's the opposite of undefeated?
I don't know.
Is there a good word for that? But yeah, I think they will get the win this year. But I don't think it's going to be the Titans. And I think the Titans are going to run all over them because they don't have the receivers. A.J. Brown or Julio Jones aren't expected to play this week.
And with that being said, they dropped it down to -6 now. You guys can get it at. So it might even move lower during game script, but Josh is taking it.
Yeah, so I took it at -7.5. So if you want, I definitely would suggest going to -6.5, just staying right under that 1 touchdown difference. But I think they should easily make a 2-score difference here in this game. I just think they're a way better team, and I think the Jets just they really don't have an answer. Like, they can't get anything going, and Zach Wilson is getting hit more than Sam Darnold did when he first started. Like, I mean, he might not be saying he's seeing ghosts, but my man's definitely seeing ghosts and wants that out of his pocket or out of his hand quick. So I like that as a safe bet. I only got 1 unit on it just because more is negative 7.5. If it's negative 6.5, I could easily go up to 2 units.
All right. Well, I got 1, 2, 2, possibly 3 or 4 spreads.
Going big.
Yeah. The first one, I'm going to be putting at 2 units. Kansas City Chiefs -2.5 at the half.
First half.
Oh, never mind. Not first half. This is why it's so low. First quarter spread -2.5.
First quarter spread. Okay, I still like that.
They're coming off a 2-game losing streak. I'm almost positive the Chiefs have never done that since Mahomes has been there because all they do is win. And they probably like barely even lost 2 in their whole existence since Mahomes has been there, like total games. So they're coming off 2 losses, and they're most likely going to come out hot. Josh is also betting on Tyreek Hill, which we'll talk about later, going off as like one of the first touchdown people in the league. So I just feel like it's going to be them coming out hot. It's the first quarter. I hope they get the ball first because if they don't, then I feel like that's even going to be worst case. So I'm going to take 2 units, Kansas City -2.5 at the first quarter. Not sure what it's at now. I took it back on Sunday or something like that.
Last you checked, the half was still -4 spread.
Right.
Like you just checked. So I'm sure it's close.
So it's probably the same. Yeah. My other spread is Buccaneers. I took them at -5.5. I think they're -7 now. I know it never even opened up at -5.5, but I dropped it a little bit, so it's at -130.
Gotcha. That's not bad.
Josh took it at minus.
Oh, calm down.
Oh yeah,
I gotta save that. That's a secure lock right there.
So anyway, I took that at -5.5. It's -130. It's still pretty good odds. So I'm gonna take that one at 1 unit, and then that leaves me 3 units. And then my other one is Tennessee Titans. Josh has at -7.5. I got it at -6, like I said, before Julio Jones was questionable, but now he's definitely out. AJ Brown's out. And then I also really like, what was the other one? The Chargers -3 versus the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a good team, but I think the Chargers team is looking stout right now and very high-scoring offenses, and I think the Raiders are going to get exposed during this game. I think this is the first time Raiders been 3-0 since like 1990-something.
You know Derwin James is still out? I don't know if he came back in that game.
Not entirely sure.
Let me check out on him.
But I'm going to take those at -3.5, 115, -115 at 1 unit. So that leaves a total of 4 units on spreads. And that's pretty much all I have for spreads besides my lock. So we'll go over that at the end. What do you want to jump into? Prop bets? You have over-unders? I have none, so you can go.
Yeah, I got some over-unders. I actually like. So over-unders this week, I got the Broncos and Ravens over 41.5. That's a -160, so that's an alternate total.
And the good thing, real fast, tap in. They're at 44.5 now, over-under. So would you suggest someone going over or under? Like, do you think 44.5 is too high now?
I think it's just right where the game will end at, between like 43 and 47. Like I'm very confident in the 40s.
Okay.
I just don't know where in the 40s. So I think you have to take the low 40s just to be confident. But it's still, I have 2.5 units on it. So I think it'll still be a good 1 unit profit on here. But the Broncos and Ravens are both known so far. Well, the Ravens are known for their defense, but their defense has not been great this year. They're letting up a lot of passing yards.
Peters.
Yeah, with Peters out, and there's just not as good chemistry and communication on the backside. So I think the Ravens are going to struggle. And the Broncos, although I think they had probably one of the easiest schedules, and their team is definitely overrated so far this year, being undefeated, I think they have a lot of talent still left, even with Jerry Jeudy out. Cortland Sutton's always been a really stout receiver. Bridgewater's going to play it safe. Javonte Williams looks super explosive. Melvin Gordon is questionable, but regardless, even if he does misses, I think Javonte can carry the workload and explode, kind of like a Tyson Williams, but even better. So I see them putting up points on both sides of the ball just because Ravens is coming off a win, but not a great win. Just a couple last-minute points on a Justin Tucker NFL record. So I think they're looking for a bounce back in offense, getting more towards the run and relying on it in Tyson. The Ravens might get back their rookie receiver that everyone's getting hype on, Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
And their other receiver, Boykins. Yep, I think it's Boykins, is coming back, and he's in his second or third year. So he has some chemistry there too. So I think he'll get more weapons, and the game's just going to be a very close game. And close games tend to go over just because they're both getting into the 20s, that 3 touchdown games. So I really like that at 2 units for the over 41.5 at negative 160.
So right now, real fast, if you were to take, if the listener is willing to take it at 41.5, you're going to have to get it at minus 170 now for odds. Obviously, Josh got it better. So little advice real fast is if you're going to be gambling periodically or weekly, try to get early spreads if you really like it too, because you're going to get it way better than what it's at as long as it's going the right direction.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of props I pulled out of for the cash just because of that reason. It was just going up too high to be comfortable. But I would honestly comfortably say anywhere 43 and lower, over 43, I would still bet 2 units, 2.5 units on, and it should hit pretty easily. My last over-under is going to be the Washington football team versus the Falcons, over 47.5. The Falcons defense has been awful. Everybody knows this. Almost everybody's been putting up points. The only low-scoring game was versus the Giants, and the Giants haven't been moving the ball much. Washington football team, their defense had the recognition last year of being one of the best pass rushing teams. They barely had any sacks. I think they had like 3 or 4 total. They just don't look like the chemistry's still there, which is strange just because most of the personnel still stayed. So there might be some kind of coaching changes that altered it.
You're taking the over-under? What was that?
I just think they're just off to a slow start. I'm taking the over 47.5. Okay. I think it's just going to be a high-scoring game. I think Heineke gets back after having a rough week and starts throwing some good dimes, and they rely on Gibson a little bit more just to run the ball, even though he is questionable, but he said he got a full practice in on Friday. So he should be good to go, and I think he'll show up versus the Falcons. The defense is not going to stop Gibson. I see this game going into the 20s and 30s. I actually think the Washington football team will pull this one out, but I think the Falcons actually show some life since their offense has not been what people thought. They thought they were going to throw over and over. But I think the new offensive coordinator there, his first year there, is just really holding them back from showing Ridley's talent and Kyle Pitts' talent.
Looks like it's at a pick'em game at this point, minus 1.5, plus 1.5.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of just up to see who really just performs better, which I kind of agree with. I wouldn't pick either team or bet on either team, but I think the points are definitely going to go over. So I have over 47.5, 1 unit at negative 106 odds. But that's all my over-unders. We're going to move right on to props. What you got, Caleb?
I got like 5, maybe 6 of them. Forget exactly how much, but I'm going to start off with one that I like. I've been trying to trail. I want to talk to him, talk about him in the waiver wire pickup, but we didn't get to that this week. Nick Westbrook, wide receiver for Titans. They're going against the New York Jets. And obviously we all know how bad the Jets are. They were bad last year, bad year before that. They're bad again this year. But obviously, like we talked about earlier, you have both Titans out, both Titan wide receivers out that are both actually huge Titans on the field, as in like great wide receivers in Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. So with them out, I just see him being the next one up to take all the targets and receptions. He actually split target shares with Julio Jones when A.J. Brown was out last week. They both got 4, and he caught all 4 of them. So I can just see him easily taking the over of 35.5 yards. Like I said, I think his target share is only going to go up more now, and I think he's going to have like 5 to 7 receptions. And if you give me that, and you're going to average like what? A little bit more than half a yard or 5 yards catch, then you're easily going to be able to hit that over. So 35.5, yards over Nick Westbrook, minus 113. And then just to jump right into another wide receiver, I'm going to take, not even wide receiver, but tight end, Tyler Conklin, over 29.5 yards. They're starting the Vikings tight end, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's a starting tight end.
Yeah,
Conklin,
so Browns have their second corner out. I forget what his name is exactly. They still have Ward there, but their second corner is out. I was looking at some game script just to see like who gets fed more while like that person is on the field, the other corner, I forget the name. And it usually goes towards either Thielen in this scenario, if the Vikings were playing, or Tyler Conklin. That's who gets more of a workload towards that cornerback. So between him and Thielen's number's a little bit too high, so I was like, I'll give Conklin. I think he can easily get over 30 yards. Do you know how much targets he's averaging?
He's averaging 6.
Okay.
He went 4, 4, and 8.
Okay, so that's 6. Like I said, again, a little bit more than 5 yards a catch, which for a tight end, that's kind of like where it's at. But I can just easily see him actually going over the 35.5. So 35.5, or not 35, 29.5. Tyler Conklin, minus 113 versus the Browns, Vikings tight end. I don't know if you want to jump over your props and then I'll...
Yeah, sure. So I'll pull right on to my first prop of the week. Technically my second. I already hit on the Burrow over 248 passing yards. But this one, I like Jared Goff to go under 35.5 for his longest completion. I got this at not 10 units. Whew, let me correct myself. 2 units at negative 115 odds. So the only one he's hit this so far, the over 35 completion, is with Hawkinson. They don't have any really standout speedy receiver or one that makes a lot of separation. So it's really struggling to get a nice deep throw or a nice open option. With all that said, so far this year, Jared Goff has thrown 65% of his passes to either tight ends or running backs, and both of them aren't. I mean, Hawkinson isn't awful at yards after catch, but I think where he shines is just having really good hands and being a taller guy, so he gets those one-on-one wins. But again, he's not really a downfield killer, so unless Jared Goff has a crap ton of time, then I can't see a pass going over 35 yards. I mean, that's a pretty good distance.
There's no really wide receiver or even his tight end that's going to be getting that kind of...
Yeah, if anybody's going to get it, it's going to be Hawkinson. But like I said, he throws almost 50% of his passes to the running backs.
It's going to have to be a yak play, though. I doubt he's going to go 30.
That's what I mean. He's not really a big yards after a catch guy. The only person that's a little bit yards after catch is Swift. But that's going to be really tough for him to hit a 36-yard
It's a far one.
Screen catch. Last week, he only had 3 targets to all his wide receivers total. So that just shows you like how much he leans on his tight ends and his running backs, and just really relying on that actually really good offensive line to hold him up.
And they play Bears this week, which is pretty good.
Exactly. The Bears defense is pretty good. It's a lot more underrated than people think, or it's a lot more underrated than people give credit for. So I expect another low-scoring game as both offenses struggle to really get points on the board. So because of that, I don't think anybody's going to be throwing bombs. They're just going to try to run and get those few points that they can get. But yeah, that's the first one of the week. I really like it at 2 units, so lock that in.
Real fast, to jump on. I don't know if I said my units, but the Nick Westbrook over 35.5. I take that at 10. Well, 2 units.
2 units.
2 units. And then Tyler Conklin at 1 unit for 29 over. Real fast, just to jump in, the one that I love, and I will take basically the same exact thing, but I'm going to double down on it, is Kareem Hunt. They're playing Vikings. Kareem Hunt over 18.5 last week. I think we took him at 13.5.
16.5.
16.5. Easily went over that. Again, Landry's out, so they're going to pass it to him. They're going to use it down. Like we said last week, Baker Mayfield is kind of just like feeling kind of player. So like whatever chemistry he has, he's going to give it to those players. And it's Kareem Hunt, Chubb, OBJ, and
I think even
Landry.
I think he likes Hooper more than he even likes OBJ.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. But either way, I think he's going to easily go over 19.5. I would say even in the 30s. So if you want to try to boost that, if you can, maybe in the 20s.
They have an alternate.
Yeah, if you have an alternate, find that. But I got that at 2 units, 18.5 over his receiving yards at -113. And I'm going to double down on it with Kareem Hunt's total receptions. They got that at 2.5. I'm going to take that at 2 units as well at -108. So nice. If I feel like he's going to go over 18.5, then I feel like I got to get him to have at least 3 or more receptions to get over that, especially if I think he's going to go in the 20s, 30s of receiving yards. So I'm going to take the over 2.5, 2 units as well. That's 4 units dropped on Kareem Hunt. He did good for me last week. Josh pulling that pick out of his pocket. That was pretty good. So I'm going to take it this week as well. You want to go over to yours?
Yep. So I'll move on to another reception, longest reception. Well, instead of pass completion, this is going to be a reception one. I like Brandon Cooks, longest reception under 22.5. So I got that at 1 unit, -115 odds.
Who's the name now? Since you just butchered
Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
For the Texans. So I love Brandon Cooks. I think he's an awesome receiver. I just think the Texans are awful at the moment. I mean, Mr. Davis at QB as a rookie just looks like straight.
And who they play again this week?
They play. Who we got? The Texans play the Bills. Another reason why I like it even more. I think the Bills
I like that
defense could end up being top 3 at the end of the year. They just look really, really good. Besides the fluke loss to the Steelers in the first week, I think they got it back together, and they've just been blowing teams out. So I think Davis is going to struggle like really hard, and he will rely on Cooks. I just don't see Cooks getting super open versus a good Bills secondary and Tre'Davious White as the top all-star there. So if this does happen, it's going to happen in garbage time. I'm not super high on it. That's why I only have it at 1 unit. But I just think chances are this isn't going to happen. If it does, it's going to be the end of the game. And it will piss you off, but it's not going to be because of the Bills. It's just going to be because the Bills let it happen. And they play super safe. But yeah, you got another prop, or you want to move on to another mine?
Yeah, I got one last prop. I was trying to look around, think of what player I would want to do, looking at the game script. And for whatever reason, since one of my locks reflects around this game, I thought about the Saints, and I was like, oh, what's Tyson Williams' rushes or pass attempts or something like that? Something with Tyson Hill. What are his numbers? So I looked at his rushing, and his rushing is 12.5. His percentage was almost at 60. I think we looked at last time, which is like crazy high for a backup quarterback. So obviously he was schemed into a lot of plays, regardless if he got the targets or not. He also got 6 rushing attempts last game. So even if you only get 5 yards out of half of those, you're automatically going to go over. So you're also playing the red zone.
Well, the red zone's always a big opportunity for him, but like there's always a chance that Winston gets benched.
Right, that too. But I don't know about this game since they're going against Giants. Defense is pretty good. Not, I would say, like middle of the pack. But either way, I think they'll be able to keep the lead majority of the time, and it'll give him more chance to actually run the ball, not throw the ball 24/7. So that gives him another nod to hit his over. But it's at -120, so it's kind of inflated, to be honest. So I'm just going to take it at 1 unit instead of dropping a shit ton on it, especially since he kind of can go under if they don't scheme it to make him actually run that much, especially depending on how the game script goes. Who knows? The Giants might actually be in the game, and they might actually have to keep throwing, and then he never even gets his attempts in the red zone. But we'll see. So that's going to be my last prop bet. That's a total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units on prop bets. So I'm like I said before, I'm a big prop bet guy, and I really like prop bets. But
look something up for me, just because I feel like the odds keep changing, and I know they changed from when I first put my bet in. So my next prop bet is Hines of the Colts to go over 25.5 rushing yards. So originally I had this when it first came out at 23.5 rushing yards.
Attempts?
No, yards. Rushing yards.
Who?
Naheem Hines.
He's not on here.
Okay, so
Taylor, Brissett, and Gaskins.
So they already took him off. So look for them to put him back on soon. I think they're waiting for the questionable tag on Jonathan Taylor to either change to out or doubtful.
Yeah, they could get screwed hard there.
Yeah, so he was questionable all through the week, and I was really high on Hines. He's been looking really good. His usage is really good. Even with Jonathan Taylor, he's getting half the snap percentage.
All right, here we go. We got
you got it on DraftKings?
DraftKings over FanDuel for whatever reason. I'm liking DraftKings a lot more this year, actually. And this is another reason. They got Hines at over 25.5. What do you have?
Yeah, so that's what I have it at 25.5.
Okay.
I updated it. It was originally 23.5. So people are on it, and they're hitting on or banking on the shot that Jonathan Taylor doesn't play. He started off with a knee injury, and it's just something that a lot of teams are going to be cautious about, just because a knee injury leads to further injuries lower down on the leg, and that'll really set them back as a team because they want to rely on Jonathan Taylor, not Carson Wentz, to run the ball. So I have that at 1 unit at negative 120 odds. Last week Hines outsnapped Jonathan Taylor by 58%. So that could even be a sign right there. Like, they were already worried about his health in that game.
Not even just health. They're committee backfield anyway.
Yeah,
Taylor's took over a majority of it, but I would still say they're a committee backfield.
Yeah,
Hines can get it if he shows them that like he's going and he's got it. They're gonna feed him more than not Taylor, but more and more than he usually does. So
yeah, and Hines is really doing good this year. He's at 4.4 yards per carry average.
That's pretty good.
My AME has allowed like the season best weeks for running backs we wouldn't really be hype on, like Zach Moss and Peyton Barber. Just ran all over them for over 100 yards. They're currently the second most fantasy points allowed to the running backs in the NFL. So the Dolphins up front is not great. Their secondary is good, but I can just see Hines hitting this very, very easily if he gets high usage. So if he's out there to start, like, this man's going to hit this maybe even the first quarter, but definitely the first half. So I really like it. The only reason I was a little hesitant because I didn't know Jonathan Taylor's status. Sometimes they give him just a rest on Wednesdays, but he hasn't practiced all week. So he's questionable and probably will be doubtful or is very limited in snaps. So I do like that a lot. I would actually bump it up to 2 units just because he's still questionable and it's Saturday. So lock that in at 2 units. My next one, I got Ayuk from the 49ers at over 44.5 reception yards. 1 unit for negative 115 odds. I was hype on Ayuk coming into the year. Obviously, he was a letdown for the fantasy community. Just coming in and being a healthy scratch because of a rookie Sherfield that apparently won the job out for him. I think that was a bunch of bullshit from Kyle Shanahan. I think he was just punishing Ayuk for whatever reason. But Ayuk still looked explosive last week, even though he only put up like 30-some yards. He just has that yak factor. He instantly started taking away from Deebo's touches. So I think he's going to go back to his last year flashes that we saw and start averaging like 70 yards a game. Kittle is also questionable. I think he might even be out. Let me double check for you guys. But if Kittle's out, that's just even more targets for him going forward this week. So he's still questionable. So there's a good chance that Kittle's rested just for his health going forward. So more targets for Ayuk. But I like him there. I just have him at 1 unit. And my last prop, like I said, I'm betting on this every week in and out. And it's not going to change until it drops like the crazy. The yards, if the yards don't go under 11.5, like I'm taking every time.
If it happens this week, though, it's back-to-back weeks.
Yes, but that would be 2 and 2. Yeah, it would be 2-2.
All right, hit him with it.
But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, longest rush under 14.5. We got it 2 units, lock it in, negative 105 odds. It's going to be a lock in every week. Like I said, last week he hit by 1 yard. Good for you, Clyde. It's not going to happen again. You got the Eagles defense, underrated. They're going to put in that work. Edwards is going to get the start over Shizzy Wilson linebacker. Or Wallace linebacker. He should have never, technically he didn't get the start, but he got a lot of snaps. So I think the Eagles had a really, really bad loss last week, and they're going to want to show up on both sides of the ball. So, Clyde, you're slow. I'm sorry, you're too short, and you're going to win me a lot of money. I still like you. You're on my fantasy team. Just put up those points in other ways. Get some touchdowns maybe, man. You're slacking there.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you want to move into? The parlay, or you want to do lock? Let's do parlay. Hey?
Yeah, lock in the parlay.
All right, so mine is around.
Don't forget.
Fast.
What's that?
Real fast, my spread. I wanted to add another one. I just threw it in there. I actually forgot about it, but I really like the Browns at -1 right now. You can get it. Before it was at 3, and then they moved it to 2.5. Now they're dropping it down to -1. I don't know why. Maybe
it's because everyone's on the Vikings then. Vikings are playing right.
Yeah. But it's also you have. I just feel like you have a very rush-heavy defense, and Vikings are middle of the pack as far as defense goes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said rush-heavy defense, but rush-heavy offense in the Browns. And I just can see them doing what they want.
Yeah,
throughout the whole game, with Hunt and with Chubb, and if they scheme them both in playing at the same time, I think it's gonna be really smart in their play because they can actually do a lot like that, especially with Landry out. So I love them at -1. That's like basically a pick'em game at that point. It could also go the Vikings could just shit on them.
So one thing I like to do, just to get a little bit better odds if I'm confident in a team, is boost the spread to right below a field goal, so I'll get a -2.5. Sometimes that could bite you in the ass, but usually you'll get a lot better odds.
Honestly, I see this as a close game, so I'm going to take it as close to 0 as I possibly can. But like you said, I wouldn't go over anything more than -2.5.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not. I'm just saying.
But you're getting at -1. They had, like I said, they had at 3 to start with, possibly even more. I saw it at 3, and then it went down to -2.5. So I wasn't really tempted to touch that 3. Not even really 2.5. Even though, like I said, you could if you feel really positive in the Browns. But I'm just gonna easily take this as the Browns -1. But I'm only putting 1 unit on it just because it's last minute. And I didn't do like full injury report depth research into it. So just gonna do that at 5. But what were you gonna talk about before I threw that in? I said parlay, and then I said something else. What do you want to do next? And we said parlay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, let's just go straight into parlays. Mine is around a game I haven't talked about much yet, but a team that I love. It is Raiders at the Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers. I'm taking Austin Eckler anytime touchdown. My man's top 3 RB this year. I've been saying it week in and week out. At the draft, I think I said top 5, but he's just the man, and he went super late, so I'm going to take him anytime touchdown score. You can get it in the reception portion, or you can get it in the rush, whatever he wants. Throw him on the red line. I'm looking at Eckler every time to get a touchdown. Also, Mike Williams has been getting a shit ton of touchdown shares, or targets, should I say.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at for the game script to switch and go back to Keenan Allen. We all know he's been heavy on touchdowns in the past in his career, and we all know he can go up and get it. So I'm going to take Keenan Allen anytime touchdown, Eckler anytime touchdown, and then D. Waller.
Same game?
Same game, right? Is that what you want to do?
I mean, you could do any parlay, but I was just doing. I guess it really could be any parlay. I just have it down as parlay. Our long shot parlays just got to be 1,000+ odds.
Okay, yeah, I'm out there. So then we got Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, D. Waller to get a touchdown anytime.
This got to be high.
Everyone knows him that he can. He's like the most targeted player on that team. He's a tight end. He's tall enough to go up and get it.
Yeah.
So I can easily see it. I also see this game being high scoring. So I'm going to take D. Waller as my best option there. And then Los Angeles Chargers, I took the spread a little bit higher, I think. I forget which way it goes. But I took them at plus 3.5. I think right now they're at -3, -2, something like that.
Yeah, they're probably minus. They're definitely favorites.
I'm taking them at plus 3 just to get me over that 1,000. I'm at plus 1,185. Same game parlay. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Darren Waller, Charger, anytime touchdown scores, and then Chargers plus 3.5. I think it's going to really come down to if Keenan Allen gets a touchdown or not. I can easily see Eckler and Waller getting the touchdown. So, but then again, it's guessing 3 people to get a touchdown. That's very hard to do, but we'll see how it goes. And basically, if you get that, you're gonna be easily getting some good money there. So, yeah, hopefully it happens. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, then it is what it is. It's a long stretch.
If you're don't forget, I mean, I'm sure most of you guys know out there that bet on Sportsbook often that both FanDuel and DraftKings do same game parlay promotions. So if you haven't already used that, just make sure you opt in to those promotions and really take advantage of them. Because a lot of the times they'll almost refund you most of their money, and it's easy to get it back. You'll take the site credit for $25, and you'll bet on some negative crazy odds thing, and you'll get your money back almost instantly. I know a lot of sports books have retreated from FanDuel's way of doing that. So instead of giving out site credits, they'll give out free bets. So you don't get the money back that you bet, unlike FanDuel. So it's not as nice on FanDuel when it comes to like refunds. FanDuel's the best for that. Anyways, moving into my long shot. So I'm just pretty much grabbing a couple bets from here and there that I liked on the week. So I got Goff, longest completion under 35.5. I got the Patriots -6.5 spread. I got Clyde's longest rush under 14.5. They bumped it up one this week. I like that. And then my last one is Ayuk over 44.5 reception yards. When I put this in, it was just over 1,100 odds. I like all of them to hit, and I always like a parlay that's not reliant on the same game. Same games are a lot harder to hit just because it's the same game and you're banking on a bunch of things going exactly how you predict them. But with all that said, same games sometimes give you the best odds ever. Like, it's insane. So I'm locking that in at 1 units plus 1,100 odds.
Can you run through those real fast, the 4?
What's that?
Descriptiveness. Can you run through the 4?
Yeah. My parlay.
Yeah.
Golf, longest completion under 35.5. Patriots spread of -6.5. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, longest rush under 14.5 yards. And Brandon Ayuk over 44.5 reception yards.
I think your toughest one's going to be Pats -6.
Oh, no. That's the lock. We can get... Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Why did I say Pats?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. Am I like brain dead? I need to check my sports book. We're going to change that up. I'm almost 100% sure I had the Bucks -6.5.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. So, I was going to say,
let's just say this. It definitely should be Bucks -6.5. The whole like Tom Brady switching teams, I guess, got in my head because I definitely do not want the Patriots -6.5. That shit should be itself be plus 1,100.
Well, I think that's why you have it at plus 187.
Well, that was a typo. I had other things in there before.
All
right. So do not take the Patriots -6.5. We're gonna swap that in for Bucks -6.5, which is gonna be my lock moving in to our locks. But swap that out. Do not put the Patriots. Bucks -6.5. So you should have a 4-leg parlay. If it's not under plus 1,000, I apologize. I brain farted when I put it in.
Take it at -7.5. Then it'll probably get you over the 1,000.
No, don't do that.
Don't like it?
No. You got to keep it the lock.
Okay.
But it's still going to be good odds. I promise. Put 1 unit on that. All right, let's move right into the lock since we keep bringing my lock up every freaking section. So, Bucks, -6.5. We got Tom Brady versus Belichick. It's the game everybody's talking about. Every sports channel talking about it. Like, what's going to happen?
Their coming home video
is
sick.
Oh, everything's going to be sick. I mean, Brady's going to cry. And honestly, like, I think he's going to enjoy just the moment of coming back. Like, everyone has that feeling coming back to somewhere they're so comfortable with.
I don't think there's going to be any booze. Boo.
Oh no, they're gonna cheer him on. I mean, they'll be like maybe boos mid games, but what I would die and love to see, because I would just crack up, and this goes against my bet, is for my lock not to hit. And if it didn't hit and the Patriots upset the Buccaneers, if Tom Brady just walks off the field, no handshakes to Belichick, just does his sore loser impression, because he's done it before. Everyone always calls him out, and he's like, oh, well, they're not my best friend. I'm not going to go up to them. I'm like, no, man, you just got your ass beat, and you're embarrassed, and you just walked off the field like a crybaby.
If they lose, though, that's wild.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, it's wild if they lose, but honestly, it would be so much more crazy just to watch him walk off the field and not give Belichick the recognition of, like, yeah, you got me this time. Like, because Belichick is like a hard ass, and he never gives Tom Brady the credit in press conferences. He'll always be like, oh, it's just another player. Like, he had a press conference asking these questions, and they asked him about Tom Brady playing him, and he's like, oh, we played our players before. I mean, we just played Hogan on the Texans. Like, my man's comparing Hogan to Tom Brady.
Greatest player all time.
Yeah, like, did it all for him. Probably won him half his money. Like, but I mean, that's what I'm looking for, is like that handshake after. Like, I know 99% of the time it's going to be there, and it's probably going to turn a hug. But if my man loses and doesn't handshake him, I will film that, like, cracking up forever, because that'll make the whole year. I would watch football all day, every day for that.
All right.
Drama.
So that's your lock?
Yeah, it's locked. Bucks negative 6.5. Oh, I forgot the units. Very important. 7 units. Not too heavy. Don't get too hype on those 10 unit drops. But I like the 7 unit. I think the Bucks are a way, way better team. The whole narrative of, Belichick's gonna come with the upset because, like, whatever. Like, no, there's no chance the Patriots win this game unless Tom Brady gets hurt. Literally, that's the only way it's happening.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the team's just explosive on both sides of the field.
I believe Gronk is not playing, though, right?
He's not playing because he has a couple fractured ribs. And he's like, I'm not risking my health just because I want to play where I played before. Like, it's not that important to him.
All right. Well, to jump into my lock,
what we got?
Is this, like I said, it's the Saints. This is not a bounce back lock because I'm only taking it at 5 units.
Okay.
But
are we getting? Hopefully, you end up positive.
Yeah, well, I think I'll end up positive this week, minus my bad Monday start. But it is what it is. I thought I was going to hit, and I thought I was going to start off hot, go into a great week 4. Did not happen like that at all. So I'm already minus 11 and going to this. So we're just going to bounce back and try to go even at least. Maybe go positive if everything hits. But
like I just, as long as you don't shock me again, because every time you bring up a lock, I'm like,
no, you're not shocked.
I'm like, oh.
The last one, what you did, we were shocked. What are you talking about? It was the first one. That's it.
Yeah.
Tyson Williams just screwed us last week. Anyway, my lock.
I wasn't talking about Tyson. I was talking about
the first one over.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
No, the under.
I'm like,
still, I'm pretty sure the highest scoring game up until week 3. So
yeah, I don't know.
That's pretty wild.
Like.
Anyway, my lock is New Orleans Saints minus 4.5 at the half. I'm taking it at minus 105. I believe Josh took that as his lock.
I had the 49ers negative 4.5 versus the Lions.
Oh, that's what it was.
It came out
but it was that first.
fire.
It was that first half you'd had it at. So this is my New Orleans Saints.
Are they playing?
Their defense is stout. They're playing the Giants.
Okay.
I can easily see them coming out hot. I don't really like getting the spread in general. I think it's at like minus 7, even though I favored towards them at the minus 7, but minus 4.5 at half. Give me that all day long. I think they're going to contain the lead the entire game unless Giants just go up real fast, but I can easily see them swinging back. We all know what Winston does, and my man just slings it. We also know he's improved over the years, and he doesn't look like what he used to at Bucks. And we also know how great the Saints defense is. So I can easily see them lock it down. Like I said, 5 units. Saints minus 4.5 at the half for spreads of 105, minus 105.
How many turnovers do you think the Giants are performing? So the Saints got 3 interceptions on Mac Jones. That's pretty good versus the Patriots. What do you think? At least 2? 2? Let's go 2.5 over under.
Turnovers or 2 interceptions?
Just turnovers, fumbles, whatever. We got 2.5 over under. Were you taking the over or under?
Over. Just
Woo!
because.
3, yeah, they definitely blowing them out there.
Yeah, just because I feel like they're going. Actually, no. I'm going to say the under because I feel like they're not going to need it. I think they're going to easily be able to handle this game. And obviously, no one's going in and be like, oh, well, we don't need this, so I'm not going to do this. Obviously, they're going to try to get turnovers no matter what happens. But I just feel like that's not going to be what is going to
Yeah, and the Giants are pretty banged up,
game.
too. Almost 100% sure Sterling Shepard's out.
Yeah.
What's his name's dealing with
Slayton.
hip injuries. Slayton's out, too. Yeah. Galladay was having hip issues in the early season.
Who knows what Barkley is still. Their offensive line's ass.
Yeah, it's ass. Ingram's coming back for his first game off injury, and he's not going to be rusty, even though he will help a little bit as like a safety blanket, but that's it.
Either way, I just can't see the Saints losing this game. Like I said, I don't really like them at the -7, even though I'd favor them, so I'm going to take them at -4. And that's my lock of the week.
Is it -4 or -4.5?
-4.5, sorry.
Okay, and how many units? 5, right?
Units.
Okay.
Versus Giants.
What kind of odds you get?
Spread -105.
Oh, that's pretty good odds.
Yeah. So it's right there. Basically, you're splitting. You're getting your money back.
Yeah, I like that. I might have to put that in my picks.
Real fast. I know this isn't really part of it, but I want to just do it. And if I hit this, half the money will go to one random person of my choosing in some rally thing that we'll set up. Basically, just get a bunch of names. Whoever wants to jump in it can jump in it, and half of the winnings can go to you, which is a good amount. Talking about $225, good amount.
Oh, it's bad juju hyping this up.
But Tennessee Titans, here we go. It's a bunch of spreads. Tennessee Titans -6 versus the Jets. Cleveland Browns -2.5. Wish I got them at the 1, but I took them early. -2.5 versus the Vikings. Cowboys -4.5 versus the Panthers.
I don't know about that one.
Saints -7 versus the Giants. Chiefs -7 versus Eagles. I just feel like 2 losses.
A good one.
Eagles look like trash.
We got
Detroit Lions, actually 2 people I got at plus. Detroit Lions +3 versus the Bears. I know the Bears defense, like you said, looking good, but Lions have been fighting almost every single week.
They've been competitive versus good teams.
Bears offense is trash city.
Yes, Matt Nagy, get him fired.
Trash city. So I'm gonna take them at +3. And then Steelers at +6.5.
Oh, we're getting back on the Steelers.
The Steelers looked great. We beat the Bills. Let me finish. They beat the Bills. They looked great defensively.
Oh, yeah. Well,
when they played the Bills, okay? And then the past 2 games we lost, and almost half of our starters were out on the defense. Now they're all back. So I'm going to take them at +6.5, and then Chargers at -3. Again, that gives you a total of plus 17,447 odds. So if I hit this, I will give the $225 to a random person. We'll take a bunch of names from a hat. If you want to jump in it, you can jump in it. Anyone's welcomed. And you don't have to jump in it now. You don't have to jump at a certain time. If it hits, then we'll discuss it. But that's just 8 games out of 16 games that's going to happen. Hopefully the spreads hit, and we can just spread the love and give some money out. But that's it. You got anything else?
Yeah, so just a notice, always look out for our socials on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at Leather Helmet Fandom on all of them. Just look for live bets. If we post some more going into Monday nights, we usually like to post some in just because a lot of updates on the game going into.
And if I suck.
Yep, and if we're just trying to bounce back. One other thing I wanted to note, you'll see a post on our socials about a promotion for the Jets' first win. I got a couple bets preseason for the Jets' first win because I knew they'd be a lot worse than people were overhyping Zach Wilson to be. So just banking on the value I got, and I got a lot of value. I only had to put up $20, so I put 5 on 4 different games. But I'll post up all those 4 games. Anybody who follows or shares that post will be able to win 100% of the profits. Just to give you an idea, one of them is versus the Texans. If they beat the Texans, it's a over $300 profit. So just putting that out there for you guys, try to spread some love. And you'll see that very soon. I'll make sure I get it up soon so we're not hitting on one of the wins. I think a couple of them come up soon, the like lower $60 profits.